to the Ward 13 John Hopwood Show. Of course, I'm not John Hopwood. I'm Mike Lopez. I'm with the American Legion, Henry J. Sweeney Post. And John asked me if I'd do a couple shows, and so I picked one of my particular program, which is Boy State and Girl State. And we'll get into those subjects in a few minutes. But first of all, I want to introduce our chairman of Boy State, Alex. And he's a graduate of Bishop Girton High School, earned an undergraduate degree from Georgetown University, and from Washington, D.C. A person who knows Boy State, Boys Nation, who's a graduate. And with that, Alex, I'd like to give a little bit more about yourself and who you are and what you do today, and then introduce your guest.
Well, Mike, thanks very much for having me here today and for putting this together. I've known you through the Legion programs, I guess, fairly well these past 4 or 5 years, and I just want to say a huge thanks for having us on today and talking about two of the really premier youth engagement programs that exist in the United States. Boys State and Girls State are American democracy in action, and they are programs that mean an awful lot to me. It's kind of hard to believe that it was 25 years ago this summer that I attended Boys State as a student, and more importantly, to think that this is, over 75 years that the Legion has been putting on Boys State, Girls State nationally. A little about me. I grew up in the Nashua area. As you heard, went to Bishop Girton. The Legion has been wonderfully kind to me in terms of not only supporting me through Boys State, Boys Nation, but also through the Youth Oratorical Contest. People will tell you it's no joke. I went on and decided to practice law. I'm a partner with a law firm called Sulloway and Hollis up in Concord. And, it's just been a real privilege to serve as chairman of the Boys State and Girls State programs. Talking a little about it today, I'll introduce the guests that we have over here on my right. Coming down the panel, so from right to left on the screen, Joyce Flanders is here. Joyce is vice chair, I believe, of the Girls State Committee.
Yeah, I'm on the committee, yeah.
For the American Legion Auxiliary in New Hampshire. To her right is Benjamin Dry, and I'll call on them to introduce themselves in a minute or two, but Ben is a Boys State alum. He has served on staff for several years at this point, right. And is part of our senior programming at Boys State. And to Ben's right is Tony Violante. Tony lives here in Manchester, is an active member of Post 2, and can talk a little bit about sort of the parts that keep Boys State working behind the scenes, but also provides a lot of support to Girls State. So maybe a couple of quick intros from our guests, and we'll talk about what Boys State is and what Girls State is and what our programs offer.
Joyce.
Hi, I'm come from the Wilton-Lineborough area, and I graduated from Wilton High School. It was only Wilton back then. It wasn't Wilton-Lineborough Cooperative. And I have been involved with the Girls State program for, I don't even know how many years, a long time. And I think this is one of the most wonderful programs that the Legion family has to offer children of today. And yes, it is a super, super, super program to engage the kids and show them just how important it is to be a good citizen of the United States.
Hi everyone, my name is Ben Dry. I'm from Plainfield, New Hampshire. I graduated from the Boys State program in 2012. I've been involved with the program ever since. I was also involved with another American Legion program, the Oratorical Contest. I was a New Hampshire State winner and went on to the Nationals as well. I graduated from River Valley Community College with 2 associate degrees in 2018, and then I graduated from Plymouth State in 2020 with a bachelor's in accounting.
Tony?
Thanks. It's great to be a member of this distinguished panel, and I want to thank Alex and Mike for inviting me. Yes, my name is Tony Violante, and I'm a member of the Sweeney Post, and I'm also the chairman of the Americanism Committee for the state of New Hampshire. That's what brings me here today. I love the camaraderie that you see with the Boy State and Girl State. I think it's one of the best programs that the American Legion can support. For those of you who don't know, the American Legion has 4 pillars. The first one is Americanism. The second one is children and youth. The third one is national security. And the fourth one is Veterans Affairs. And I must say that there can't be 2 better programs for 2 of the pillars that we were just discussed, and that is Americanism and children and youth. So I'm looking forward to this year. And one of the things that I was talking to the panel about, come Friday, which is in 2 days, this state of New Hampshire will be able to authorize all children over the age of 16 for their COVID vaccination shots, which is very exciting. So we can look forward to the children, hopefully all of them that participate in Boy State and Girl State, hopefully they'll all be vaccinated and ready to go. So again, thank you.
Thank you. Before we get started, if you give me play that Boy State 30-second spot for me before we get into it.
What is American Legion Boy State? It's exciting.
It's patriotic. It's learning.
It's exhausting. It's exhilarating. And it's getting to know who you're going to be in the future as part of this great fabric of society.
Alex, talk about when was Boy State started, and a little background on Boy State.
You bet. People look at me and kind of are stupefied to realize that Boy State is almost 75 years old. At a national level, it rolled out right around the end of World War II, and took all 50 states a little bit of time to catch up. In New Hampshire, we started in 1947. And really what it is it's a leadership program for high school juniors, this year seniors, to learn about American self-government, to learn about the democratic process, to learn about leadership, to, understand what it takes to make the American self-government system work. I know that sounds kind of dry. It's not just a civics class that you're sitting in, but it's learning by doing. Over the space of 6 days in New Hampshire, we teach the nuts and bolts of American government, towns, political parties, and a state level, with no prior experience, no prior knowledge. And we've been doing it for 75 years. The magic of the program is that you take people from all over the state who don't know each other, and the friendships and the bonds that form in that time are not only priceless, but I think teach the men and women who attend our program an awful lot about how to become leaders in their community, the importance of speaking up, the critical part of participating in the American experience. You don't have to have the right opinion. No one really does. But if you have an opinion and you can tell us what it is, that's what's going to make an informed, working citizenry. That's what we build. That's what we do. And I'm proud to be a part of that.
What's some of the eligibility for a student, a young junior or senior? Is it for both, or Could you explain that?
Sure. And I see Joyce over here. She sits to my right on this one as we're going and is sort of nodding along, and we'll have her come on here. Boys State and Girls State are open to any high school student with a tie to New Hampshire. If you attend school here, if you live here, we would love to have you attend our Boys State and Girls State. The eligibility criteria are not particularly hard, right? For 2021, you must be a member of either the junior or the senior class. You have to have a B average in school, and you have to have an interest and a commitment to learning about and engaging with the American system of government. If you meet those criteria and, you're interested in the program, we want you. There's a whole section on the website, nhboysstate.org, that lays out the criteria and what we
And
can
we
do.
also have it on the screen
Yep,
for the people.
www.nhboysstate.org. 2 S's in the middle, which makes a lot more sense when you see it spelled out as opposed to having me try to describe it to you. Joyce, are there any particular requirements for Girls State that I'm missing? That
No, just that this year we are allowing the seniors to come in because they missed last year. But yeah, they've got to have passed their junior year in high school. They have to have an interest not only in government and that kind of stuff, but we encourage them, if they have an interest in journalism or anything like that, to also attend. We're not as fussy as far as the B average goes. We will accept girls with a C average. And the reason why we do that is because we found out that the girls with the C average are the girls that are really interested in attending. The ones with the A and B average have so many opportunities of other programs to go to, and the C average children don't. So we do accept them. And Alex, when you were speaking about the camaraderie, I have a friend of mine, her daughter attended way back, I want to say probably 30 years ago, and she still keeps in touch with the roommate that she had at Girls State. They are best of friends. They associate with everything. They stood up for each other when they got married. They even named their children after each other. So, yeah, the camaraderie is really something else. And it does give girls the opportunity to learn how to get along with just about anybody. And one of the things that I noticed one of my first years there was you always have that one girl that's off by herself, especially when she's in her own school environment. She may be shy, she may just be a wallflower. But the girls will get her interested in doing things. And this girl came out of her shell like you would not believe. As a matter of fact, we had to calm her down a little bit because she really wanted to dye her hair, and we weren't going to let her do that. So, it forms so many bonds.
That's fantastic.
Well, Ben, you graduated from when
2012, yep.
2012. From my former life, I was an Army recruiter here for 7 years in Manchester.
Yep.
And I put 136 people in the service. And I know at 17, 18 years of age, don't really know what to do. They're going to go to college, going to go to tech school, going to go into judge service, but they haven't developed that sort of independence.
Mm-hmm.
What did Boys State do for you?
Yeah, so I found out about the program through my parents. One of my older brothers had actually attended Boys State a couple years before me, and so that was in the back of their minds, like, oh, hey, this is an opportunity for you to kind of be involved. I was more involved in the oratorical contests during the time, but then I found out that, I was eligible for Boys State, and so I was hesitant at first because I didn't know anything about the program. But once I got there, it was very fascinating to just kind of see that like there were so many different other students from all over the state with so many different perspectives, different experiences. You really got to understand who you were and then who everyone else was around you, because you were taken out of your own kind of bubble and put into this one huge bubble where you're just getting all these different ideas and perspectives. So it was really good for me to kind of step out of my own bubble and just kind of engage with other students, my peers, who I probably wouldn't have gotten to engage with otherwise if I hadn't gone to Boys State. So I feel like it's a really great program that takes you out of your shell, as you were mentioning, and just gives you that opportunity to figure out what you stand for. What are your beliefs? I think it's also a really great experience to really dive into what other people believe, and so I enjoyed the program so much that when I was offered to attend staff next year, I took it because I had a good experience with it, and I've been part of the staff ever since, and I enjoy it every year because I get to see all of these students who come in the first day and they don't know what they're doing there, and by the end of the week, they're all like, I don't want to leave.
Yeah, some people, it's hard to get them going, and we used to do a lot of recruiting in the buddy system. We take your buddy with you, and you have that good friendship there and meet other people throughout the state, which is really good. I do want to talk about a little cost. There's a little cost here, and the American Legion pays for a lot of it, but the website is on the bottom of the screen. So Mom and Dad, please write it down, look at it, show your son and daughter. And oh, you had that too?
No, Girls State has a different website.
Oh, they do have a different
Yes, they
website.
do.
Well, we'll have to get the right website.
Can I say it?
Sure.
Okay, it's ALA Granite Girls State, once again, 2 S's, at .wordpress.com.
And if you need it, it's linked on the Boys State website. So
It's also on the Legion family website,
and it's on
too.
the Legion website too. So that's all there, which is good. I think they were able to put it up.
Wow.
Fantastic.
There it is.
There he is. Correct it just like that.
And by the way, I'd like to say that kudos goes to the creator of this website. It is excellent. It's one of the best I've seen.
We are very proud of our website,
Yeah.
and we actually won some recognition from the National Legion for it, which is really good. But full credit for the layout goes to Dodie Eade, who is a Nashua South High School alum and Boys Nation alum out of New Hampshire. Believe it or not, I think he attended in 2014. Went to Harvard, graduated, and is now back in New Hampshire, building out the state and helping us out. The really big thing, and Mike, you were touching on this, that I am proudest of is Boys State and Girls State are not partisan programs. They are not looking to take a political point of view and indoctrinate people and make people regurgitate it. The point is that we want everyone who attends Boys State and Girls State to think for themselves, what do they stand for? What do they really believe? What do they think's important? And develop that. And that's really an important key point that I hope our audience is able to take away today. Boys State and Girls State do have a cost associated with them, but for the students who attend, the only one they ever need to worry about is an application fee of $25. The
Girls State is 50.
Girls State is 50. All right.
Sorry.
The reason is, in some way, you're as invested in something that you pay for. And, we hope that it's not meant to be a barrier to entrance. If anyone has trouble making the fee and is motivated to attend, ask us. We'll consider reasonable requests in certain circumstances, or we'll find someone to cover the cost for candidates who can't afford it for various reasons. But generally, it's a modest fee of $25. The Legion and the Legion Auxiliary, through their fundraising efforts, covers the entire remaining cost of the program. So the out-of-pocket costs to mom, dad, guardians are that $25 application fee for Boys State, $50 for Girls State, and then getting your student to St. Anselm's College here in Manchester, starting on the 20th of June. So we'll give that a go. Did I miss anything, Joyce? Am I good?
I think you
Okay.
covered most of
Well,
it.
Did we mention how long they're there?
So here's some of the nuts and bolts about Boys State and Girls State this summer. You know, it may sound kind of crazy for some of the audience listening to this, but in the Legion family, this is really big news that Boys State and Girls State have historically operated as separate programs. There's a long story behind that I can get into that's not important for today. But this year, Boys State and Girls State are going to take place together at St. Anselm's College from June 20th through June 25th. So members of the junior and senior high school classes, they want to come to Boys State and Girls State. That's where it takes place. It's 6 days. It's going to be long,
It's gruesome.
but it's going to be a lot of fun too.
Yes.
That I promise.
Another thing, too, is a lot of schools think that they can only send one candidate from their school to each program. That's not so. We have one school in Nashua, as a matter of fact, that sends 7. So, and a lot of times the units can't afford to do all 7. So I hunt around and I find a different unit to sponsor those kids. So.
Yeah, I think that's important, very, very important. Some people think Boys State, you only can get one from each school, and that's all we'll pay for. We'll take 10 from each school. It doesn't make a difference, and we'll find a way to pay for that 6 days of learning and being together and get to know what prepare you to go on to college or whatever the case may be that you choose. I think it's very important. I think, Ben, you were more prepared after going to Boys State and know a little bit more about. But what are some of the things at Boys State that you did that sticks out in your mind?
So when I attended, I think being a student as opposed to, being a staff member, as a student, it's a very grueling day, day in, day out. You know, there's so much to do, so little time to do it. You're just going from one place to the next. So it was very exhausting as a student. It's even more exhausting as a staff member. But what I enjoyed about it as a student was just getting to not only interact with my peers, but also to just really engage in the process. And throughout that whole week, everything we learned was reinforced by guest speakers coming from various levels of government, various institutions, law enforcement, the judicial branch. Each person was a qualified member. So it was just really great to not only apply what we were learning, but have it reinforced by this is what you could do later on in your life, or these are actual careers you can have that are making a difference in your community. And you don't even have to be in public office to start making a difference. I think that's what I took away from the program. It's just start, using your voice, start getting involved. You don't have to hold an office. You don't have to be a part of an organization. If you find something that's a worthy cause, go with it. And I think that's the most important part I learned from it as a student.
Well, there's some people that move forward in life going to Boys State. I have a list, unless you know some offhand, some of the prominent individuals that went to Boys State.
Give it go. Give it go. Well, there's a lot. There's so many. Boys State and Girls State have just laid a foundation, and I think that comes back to our style of instruction. And while we're finding the list, I'll just mention that for a minute or two. Typically, what we bring together is we usually have a class of between 75 and 100 students, and we'd love more. But what we do is each student lives in a city or town, a fictional city or town, and that's somewhere between 14 and 18 students, depending on the year. And that's where you start out. It's where everyone starts out. It's where you start learning the nuts and bolts of municipal government. It's where you start to figure out, how does Boys State work? What am I interested in doing? I'll tell you this. For anyone in the audience who has Apple TV Plus and has watched the Boys State documentary, it's called Boys State. Search it. It's really easy. It's about the Texas Boys State experience in the summer of 2018. And it is magnificent. It captures the week perfectly in the large level. The main difference between what you will see in the movie and what you can get in New Hampshire is that we are a state with 1/30th of the population. So our Boys State is not 1,600 students taking over the campus of UT Austin. It's 100 students at Boys State, a similar number at Girls State. We're at St. Anselm's College. We don't have as many people, but the intensity of the experience is right there. And, just to give you some names, people may or may not remember this. The most famous alum of Boys State is probably former President Bill Clinton, who attended Arkansas Boys State in the 1960s and ultimately rose up higher. But governors, United States senators, like Chris Christie, who ran for governor, ran for president. Michael Jordan is a Boys State alum. Tom Brokaw, former news anchor. You get interesting people all over. And I just don't know the story with Girls State.
Well, the one that sticks in my mind is your mayor here in Manchester was a Girls State alumni, and so is her daughter.
Yes, yes.
Yep. So she was very involved.
She went through Sweeney Post, I think, sponsored.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know how long ago it was, but I wasn't there yet.
Now, there's some scholarships in reference to Boys State and Girls State. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. And I might like to ask Tony to talk a little about the Nixon Scholarship that gets offered up, but I'll give you a little bit of an effort with some of the department-wide scholarship opportunities that are available there. But I think Sweeney Post sponsors one.
Yes, we do. I don't have the details. I mean, if you have the details on it.
Yeah.
But let me just say one thing. Just want to mention one thing. As a Legionnaire and supporting Boys State, the last one I was at was 2 years ago at St. Anselm's. And one of the things I recall, having lunch with the students, and from day one to day 6, you could see the difference in the students. It was unbelievable. And again, I'm just blown away by the difference in the difference it makes in these kids going to Boys State. It really does make a difference. But go ahead. I'll let you.
Yeah, no.
continue on that.
I think there are a number of very good practical benefits that students take away from both Boys State and Girls State. The first and foremost being that sense of confidence, that sense of leadership, that sense of my voice makes a difference. But, let's talk about some other tangible benefits. Most of our students are looking to go on to post-secondary education. They want to go to college. If any student is considering one of the United States Service Academies, Boys State and Girls State are one of 3 activities that are given a plus factor on those applications. There are a lot of scholarship opportunities available through the program. I think Boys State hands out something like $7,000 every summer to students who attend Boys State based solely on their activities that week and their scholarship applications that week. It winds up being something like 1 in every 7 or 8 students who goes has the opportunity to leave with, $1,000 scholarship to help them out. there is an opportunity for students who truly excel at Boys State and Girls State to move on to a national level program that called Boys Nation and Girls Nation. There is a special scholarship fund endowed by the Samsung Corporation to help deserving students with substantial cash awards, $10,000 and $20,000 awards to further their own education. This is an expression of gratitude by Samsung for the American service members' work in Korea in the 1950s, and it's continuing to go today. New Hampshire's students have won it all. I think back to Joey Arsenault from Berlin back in 2008, or a young man that we had from Hampton in 2018, winning it all on a national level. And that's an essay item, and it puts it out. There are some substantial cash items. Those are outlined on the website, and I hope that there are things that are available to our students. But it means the world, not only for the Legion, but the entire Legion family, from the Sons of the Legion, the Auxiliary, the Legion itself, to make these opportunities available.
Joyce, about girls scholarship?
Well, on Girls State, we don't have as many scholarships as you do because we're not as rich as you. But we do have 5 or 6 scholarships, and they're like $500 and $1,000. And one of the things that you skipped over, Alex, is that Samsung scholarship only goes to 1 Boy Stater and 1 Girl Stater from each state.
Oh, wow.
So
That's right.
if you win that, you've done really well.
And what the figure is on that?
It depends on what they earn for interest on that account, and because one year it was $20,000
Wow.
that each student got that went on to nation, but each individual on the department level, state level, got $1,000. So if you win that, it's automatically usually $1,000. Sometimes it's a little more. It all depends on how much is offered from the national organization for that.
Now, go on from Boy State. We're going to go to national.
National.
How many boys or girls go to national?
There's 2 from each state, with the sole exception of our cousins and friends out in Hawaii. There's a very good reason for that. It has to do with when their academic calendar falls, and the fact that Hawaii runs a program very similar to Boys State and Girls State as a state-level enterprise, and so their students tend to participate there. But for the other 49 states, we all come to Washington, D.C. 2 Girls Staters and 2 Boys Staters from New Hampshire are selected by the staff and their peers to represent New Hampshire at the national
Okay,
level.
hold that thought there. Can you play that tape for me, please, on Nation?
What is Boys Nation?
In Nevada, close to 8 population centers.
It is just such a great program.
Yeah, that's Boys Nation.
Go ahead, Alex, and you can finish up there when they go to Washington.
Oh, look, I can tell you stories from 25 summers ago, but they're a little bit irrelevant and frankly not all that interesting.
Maybe
to
Ben,
those
did you
who
go to
weren't
Nation?
there.
I did not.
Oh, you didn't
attend,
go
no.
to Nation.
But the function of what Boys Nation and Girls Nation is to take that state level experience and step it up one notch and sort of not do it all over again, but translate what happened at a state level nationally. everyone's a senator who comes. You are a delegate from your state. And the students are again split into model political parties, totally no preconceived notions, no preconceived platforms, totally nonpartisan. And the students again build up their political party, run a national level election, build what they've got, and then this is the really cool part about it. Get all access passes to all the corridors of power in DC. You get to meet the president. You get to meet your senators. You get to meet your representatives. You get to go to the Supreme Court. You get the backdoor pass of the FBI. You go to the CIA. You wind up taking a trip to Fort McHenry in Baltimore. You see where it happens, where the action of what drives the nation as a whole works. And it's fascinating. And it's part, fanboy experience. It's part building up America. It's part just taking the time to walk through what is in Washington with other people who you've never met from Nebraska or from Colorado or from even next door in Massachusetts that you're never going to have met but for the program, and see what we've built together. And I'll tell you, there's really nothing quite like it, because you can have gone to Washington, D.C. before. You can have toured all of the museums and monuments and memorials. But there's just something about doing the evening tour through the Vietnam Wall with veterans of that war who sit there and will point to names on the wall and say, that's my friend, he didn't make it home. And you hear the stories of what these people lived through and worked with, and you're bound up in the sense that storybooks and history texts that are dry and dull actually happened, and they mean something, and you build it. And I just think it's an incredibly energizing experience that shows the best of what we can do. And it's amazing. So it is the highest honor that we can bestow as a boys state or girls state program, is to select our representatives to the national program, and on it goes.
When you were talking about meeting some of the dignitaries down there in Washington, one of our Girls Nation girls came back, and I will never forget this, and I asked her what was the highlight of her week, and she said it was meeting Bill Clinton, and she actually got to shake his hand, and his hands were the softest she's ever felt. But it really made a difference to her to go.
One of the things that you hear about, we're spoiled in New Hampshire with our primary and meeting all of the candidates who run to be president.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you're like me in Concord, they literally bump into you in a coffee shop. You want to beat them off with a stick at times, but there's something different about actually meeting the sitting president.
Oh, yeah.
It is. Which is its own thing. That's really, Boys Nation in a nutshell, but it all builds out of that Boys State experience.
Well, I think it's very important. The boys state, girls state, going to this program and then go to national if they get chosen. And I think it's something that they can remember for the rest of their life, that they'll never forget. I can remember when I was doing a study for one of the commanders, an ad hoc committee on, where the Legion would be in 2025. And a girl helped me. She was a facilitator, and she talked to 18 of us for 6 weeks. She gave back, and she donated her time, and that would have cost us quite a bit of money. And I must tell you today, she was absolutely on the mark. Back then, when we were very strong at 25,000 Legionnaires. If we continue doing the same old thing, we'll never get there. Okay, but she changed some things in the American Legion, which was very good. This is, Boys State. This is for youth. This is a great program to really learn what it's all about, and to help you when you get to be 21, 22 years old. Then you can start making those decisions that you couldn't make at 17 and 18. And Ben, you must have. You have any experience in that, to where afterwards after you thought differently, or?
I would say after doing the program, it really got me out of my shell, and I started to challenge myself to do new things, to really step out of my comfort zone. And so, I carried that throughout my college education, at community college and then at university. It's just that, when you're attending one of those institutions, like, there's so many opportunities for you. You just have to do it. And that's one of the things that I learned from Boys State is, like, if you don't step out and try something, then you're not gonna really go anywhere. I was the student when I was a student there. I didn't try as many things as I would have liked to, looking back on it. But going forward, I learned from that, and so I applied myself wherever I went, be it at community college or at Plymouth State University. I would see opportunities, and I would position myself to be able to, take those opportunities and thrive from it. So I think for attending Boys State, it really gives you an opportunity to put yourself in a leadership position if you've never been in a leadership position. Put yourself in a situation where you can voice what matters to you. I think a lot of students, like, if they're in their own schools, like, they don't feel like they're comfortable expressing their opinions. But when you take them outside of that and put them in a bubble like Boys State or Girls State, like, it gives them that opportunity that when they express their opinion, they might find someone they disagree with, but they might find someone else that has that kind of similar perspective, and then they can get together and they can do something from there. And I think that's what's so great about these programs.
So what would you say? You're the youngest one here, so I'm going to pick on you, okay? Looking at that camera and tell these young students, 17, 18 years old, what not to be afraid of in doing something.
Yeah, I would say to members of the audience, if you have the opportunity to attend one of these programs, I would highly encourage you to do it. I've been a staff member for several years. I've seen a number of students come through the program, and every time it's the same thing. At the beginning of the week, they're all hesitant. They don't know what to expect. But by midweek, you see them get out of their shell, and you start to see them open up to form bonds with other people, and to just kind of, really take advantage of the program. And by the end of the week, you see them graduate from the program, and then you look up on them in social media and you see that they're very active in their community. So I would encourage you, if you have the opportunity, if you know someone who has the opportunity to be a part of one of these programs, please take that opportunity, because very rarely have I seen anyone regret not attending one of these programs.
Tony, you want to add to that?
I totally agree with Ben here, but one of the things that I like to say, that Boys State to me equates like an Eagle Scout would be on your resume. If you're an Eagle Scout, I was an employer for many years, and when I saw Eagle Scout or I saw Boys State, you know what? They went to near the top of my list, and that's what I like to tell the audience, encourage the audience. If you know a junior or senior, boy or girl, and you think they're ready, even if you don't think they're ready, because those are the ones that'll make it in Boys State and Girls State. Give them the opportunity. Put their names in. Make them register for them, because this could be the best chance they have to get wherever they want to be, and it's going to be a good foundation for them in their future.
Sometimes the kids have to be pushed out of the nest.
That's good.
But I think Tony raises a really good point, and this is something that I hope everyone in the audience, whether you're a parent, grandparent, uncle, aunt, educator, student yourself, there is no set type of person who comes to Boys State or Girls State. They are not all class president, student council, captain of the football team. It's everybody. It's students who are going to Harvard. It's students who have no desire to do anything further by way of formal education after they graduate high school. One of the guys I attended Boys State with is a fantastic metal worker today. You know, he graduated high school and started doing sheet metal manufacturing in Nashua. And, you know, God bless, he really enjoys doing it. But he was spectacular as the leader in our model, you know, legislature that we had set up. Everyone has something to say. So whether you're in a public school, whether you're in a private school, whether you're in a religious school, whether you're in a homeschool situation, you are eligible to attend. And I hope that people understand and hear that. I want to offer a couple of practical nuts and bolts pieces, if I could, just for the benefit of the audience, and maybe with a particular interest to those in education. Boys State and Girls State in the summer of 2021 are taking place at St. Anselm's College from Sunday, June 20th through Friday, June 25th. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 6 days, but 25th. Nominations to go to Boys State can be done by the school. If, you know, the school wants to put up a competition and put them in, the school can. Individuals can self-nominate. They can apply. And in fact, I would encourage those interested in Boys State, go through the website. Interested students can fill out the application online. There is a second part of the application process after you've stated an interest, and I'll ask Joyce in a minute or two to walk through the Girls State process because I know it might be a little bit different. But the way that Boys State works, fill out the application online or get nominated from the school. Again, the school has no ceiling on the number of qualified candidates that it can send. Once the application is sort of received and put out, there's a section on it for the school to say, this student has our endorsement. We think they're right for you. It's usually done by the principal or someone in the vice principal's office. For homeschool situations, you know, that can be waived out because you don't have anyone to go and sign it on. But it's an endorsement really meant from the faculty of the school or the leadership of the school that says this student wants to be here. The final step in the process is to send in the application to a local American Legion post, usually in the city or town where you live. If the student doesn't know a local post, the application has a phone number to call and they'll point you in the right direction to make sure that it comes in. The other reason is that we have your name and address so we can follow up and find out if there's a holdup in getting your application to get it, you know, in and considered. The only reason that is done is to say, you know, the community wants this person, and, you know, frankly, it's on a financial point on our level to make sure that we have the funds to pay for the program. But it really is meant to be, you know, sort of a formality. The fact is that if the student wants to come and wants to be there and meets our criteria, come. The only requirement, in addition to doing the application, is filling out a model bill that the student wants to talk about. Some idea of public policy. Doesn't have to be all that well formed. We'll figure that out in the week. Just have an idea. And that's what we have for Boys State and Girls State.
Well, for Girls State, we have the applications are online, both at the Legion site and at that website that I gave. And they usually send them, if there is a unit in their area, they can give them to them, and they will turn them in for you. And if not, then we ask you to send your application up to our department office, and we'll find somebody to sponsor the girls. There was something else I was going to say.
It'll come.
Yeah.
It'll come in a minute. When it does.
Oh,
You said something
we don't.
important.
Oh, excuse me.
Go ahead, no,
We
go-
don't have the girls write a bill before they come. They write it after they get there.
Okay. Now, you mentioned something I think was very important. If somebody's interested, just fill out the application. When you want to go over that again?
That's right. There are a couple of pathways to learning about the program. For a lot of the high schools in the state, especially the larger ones in Portsmouth, 2 in Nashua, the 3 in Manchester, it's a known quantity. Boys State and Girls State are one of those things on the calendar. So you may be approached by a teacher or by one of the guidance counselors or someone in the administration ask, we'd like to have you represent our school at Boys State or Girls State. If that doesn't happen and you're still interested in going, please let us know. Go to the website, nhboysstate.org. There's a big button that says apply. We're going to ask for your name, an address, an email, and a phone number. A couple of other basic questions, and then you'll get part 2 of the application mailed out. Acceptances tend to issue right around Memorial Day. There are a couple of things of paperwork to fill out, usually a medical questionnaire. We want a copy of your physical, but it's straightforward. So we have that. The last thing that I think I want to leave the audience with, because I know that our time is going to run short.
Go ahead. We got 8 minutes.
8 minutes. What does the program look like once you're there? Okay. Day 1, each day tends to have a theme at Boys State and Girls State. What are you learning about? Day 1 is sort of, wow, we got here. What the heck did we get ourselves into?
Yeah.
You want to meet everybody, learn who you are. Monday, day 1 is usually a function of municipal government. Day 2 is political parties. Day 3 is political campaigns. Days 4 and 5 are really state government. And then we all sort of stagger out at the end of day 5, substantive day 5, at the end of the day with a graduation and wrap it up. It's a quick week, but we hope it really is a bit of an introduction into what makes New Hampshire work.
Good.
On the Girls State level, what we do is on Monday, we are getting into town, city, and county. We do county, too. County governments. And by Tuesday, we have an election for officials for those municipals. And Tuesday night, we actually do skits of the meetings that would be held by each one of those committees. And they do all of it, and they do it all really quick. They come up with what they're going to discuss, whether it's going to pass or fail, if there's an amendment to it, and all this kind of stuff. And they only have 3 hours to do the whole thing.
Wow.
So, and that is usually one of the highlights of our week. The girls really like doing that, and you'll be surprised some of the things that they come up with.
Yeah, I think the other part there, we're filling out the application, is you might have some questions that not fully, and by doing that and follow up from the staff calling you, you can ask staff about different questions so that you understand the whole program.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some people do that too. So, and we want to push that. I'm trying to get my granddaughter to go in Laconia.
Well, she would.
So I'm
she
going
would
to give you her
gain
name,
from
and
it.
you're going to have to call her.
Oh, okay. I will do that.
I'll just leave it at this. If you have any questions about the program, the websites have everything. nhboysstate.org, the Girls State website that's up on the screen. There's a full application packet that you can download and look at in PDF that is exhaustive in its information, and I'll put out that it was exhausting to write. But it's all there. And
Very
the
good.
big thing that I'll leave is the importance of what Boys State and Girls State do is say that I matter and my voice matters. And if we leave at the end of Boys State and Girls State with everyone who attended taking that importance of self-participation away, we've succeeded.
Very good. Could we, is it possible to play those two 30-second spots again? Boys State and Boys Nation?
What is American Legion Boys State? It's exciting.
It's patriotic. It's learning.
It's exhausting. It's exhilarating. And it's getting to know who you're going to be in the future as part of this great fabric of society.
What is Boys Nation?
In Nevada, close to Asian population center.
It is just such a great program.
Yeah, that's Boys Nation.
And we'll start with Tony. Last words to the audience.
Yes, because of the pandemic and the cancellation last year of Boys State and Girls State, I want to emphasize that this year the eligibility is for juniors and seniors to participate. So good luck, and I hope it's successful this year.
Ben?
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here. I would just say, these are tremendous and amazing programs. If you have the opportunity to attend either of them, don't pass it by. Please really look into it.
Joyce?
Yes, it is a wonderful program, and if you have the opportunity to attend, please do so.
And the chairman, Alex.
Mike, thank you. If you feel cooped up, if you feel like you've missed out, we are committed to doing these programs in person this summer. Please come and join us.
And mom and dad, uncles, you see the website there? Go look at it. Make sure your son, granddaughter, grandson understand it and look into it. It's a great program, one of the youth programs of the American Legion. Baseball and Boys State, Girls State is the prime, and this will help every youth in our country. I thank you very much, John, for allowing me to sit in for you, and I hope that we've done justice to your program here, and I know that the American Legion is very happy that you allow us to step into your territory. Thank you very much.